You must understand. I do remember reading a story from Diane Bell, who's a well-known archaeologist and the first woman archaeologist that lived with the women for years. And she lived with a really important elder called Daisy Utamora, one of the most famous Aboriginal women from West Australia, out in the desert there. And they spent 2 years there. And then she told her a story. She said, see that boy there? It's going to be initiated. She said, watch what happens when it takes place. And he was going to be cut in the penis. Now, you would think that's a men's thing. Most white fellas would think, oh, that's a men's thing. The women won't be involved in that. No, you got it wrong. This is what happened. Daisy told Diane, and because if Daisy's talking about ceremony, she won't lie. She said, before the man cuts the boy, I have to come up and whisper in his ear who that boy's going to marry. And until he knows that, he can't cut him. Once he knows that, he can then cut the boy. Now, we all think then what happens? Once the boys are cut, okay, whether it's a cut across the chest or whether it's a cut on the penis, it doesn't matter. They're then taken out, and then they do their vision quest. They go out and live on their own. But before that happens, something very important happened that night. Daisy told Diane Bell exactly what it was. She said, we would sneak up that night. All the men would fall asleep and make believe they were asleep straight away. They'd lay down and close their eyes and make believe they're snoring. Then the women would come in and kidnap the boys, and they'd take them away. And for the whole night, they would take the boys aside. They wouldn't let them sleep, and they'd repeat a mantra. I'll try and remember it. I'll probably get a couple of words wrong, but I'll be close. It was a woman from whom you were born. It is a woman you will marry. And there's a woman who'll provide most of your food. And that would be repeated to them all night long. And just before dawn, they'd bring the boys back and lay them down. And the men would still be laying there, supposedly asleep. Of course they weren't. And then they would wake up and they'd say, now we can do men's business. But remember, they could only do men's business once the women had had their say inside their ears and reminded them of who the women were.